Now, for anyone who doesn't know Joe Rogan used to be known as the Fear Factor guy. And then he was also known as the UFC, which he still is, as the UFC commentator. Super cool, fantastic at his job, great at getting you, bringing the enthusiasm and the excitement. The first time I heard of Joe Rogan, obviously, was I was watching a UFC event, or maybe playing a UFC game on the Xbox. And I heard him, and I was like, oh, this is such a cool guy. I love how he gets energetic and enthusiastic. He gets you into it. So you gotta understand, I'm a young man. I like mixed martial arts. I'm starting to like self-development, right? But I think they're two different worlds. So can you imagine my fascination when I find that Joe Rogan, the mixed martial arts commentator, has a podcast where he brings on guys like Jordan Peterson and other like Elon Musk's and other people, and talks about discipline and patience and hard work, like talk about mind blown, right? Because here's this martial arts guy, and he's combining both of my worlds together. So it was crazy. It was like euphoria. I was like, oh my God, I didn't think this was possible. So, naturally sitting down a podcast, and he talks to MMA fighters, MMA refs, celebrities around the world. Could be anybody, right? Could be, again, the Elon Musk, Jordan Petersons. Literally anyone. Could be just his close friends. And it is so fascinating to listen to. And I think the thing that really captures people's attention about Joe Rogan is, at first glance, you look at him, he just looks like a meathead, right? He looks like this tattooed, I don't want to say uneducated, but you don't expect him to be as smart as he is. Right? And I think, in one sense, you like it. You like his manliness and his bravado, and he does martial arts, and he's big on discipline and patience and that stuff. But then when you really hear him talk, you're like, holy smokes, like this dude is intelligent. He's really intelligent. You can even argue he might be an intellectual, and you have to think that, well, it must be these conversations, right? Over 10 years of having conversations with different people and disagreeing, listening to points, rebutting points, having your perspective being changed, that's gonna have its impacts on you. And naturally, I think it has. I think it definitely has. And, you can see it, in his mannerisms, the way that he speaks. Sometimes he lets his guests finish talking, sometimes he'll interrupt them. But I think in terms of just being a podcast host, the Joe Rogan Experience, I totally recommend you check that out. It's great. It's really, really great because he brings them on there and they have fun, right? It's not too rigid. It seems like a cool, normal conversation. And another thing that I think people really like about Joe is when he doesn't understand something, he'll follow it up, right? So a lot of people, and I used to have this problem too, is when you don't understand something, it just kind of sweeps it under the rug, so the conversation keeps going. You don't want to halt it. But the moment he doesn't get something, like go on the podcast, you're like, whoa, no, I don't get that. Like, what does that mean? Like, I don't understand. Or go more in depth. What do you mean by that? And I think, his ability to really challenge people and be brutally honest and be authentic comes across really, really well. So now you see this guy who's tough as nails, who speaks really well, and who's really honest, who puts himself out there, and he doesn't mind, not arguing with his guests, but, sticking up for if he disagrees with his ideas. He's had several podcasts where he's like, no, man, like, I totally disagree. This is what I think. And I think when you see that, those are valuable traits in a person, being kind, courteous, respectful, yet still standing your ground and still sharing your opinion. And I think, in a lot of ways, when males do see Joe Rogan, very much like a Jordan Peterson, you almost look at him as a guy that who you can look up to, as a guy you can look up and be like, that's a cool guy, I like his mindset, I like how he thinks. And I think that's why they have, what does Joe Rogan have? I think 8 million subscribers on YouTube, and Lord knows how many people listen to the podcast on its own.